Hello everybody, welcome to Free Range Art Farm. So I'm in my little woodshed part of my outbuilding today because I need to build another hive stand. I mentioned it really quickly in the last video I put out that I'll go ahead and link up here if I remember to do that. Apiary's growing again, bigger than I expected. So today I'm going to build kind of a 6-foot long hive stand, and I'll show you how I build hive stands. There's 1,000 different ways to do it, and I'll show you mine. So stand by and enjoy. Alright, so to start off with, I've got a leftover old 4-foot long 4x4 and an 8-foot long 4x4, and I think 3 8-foot 2x4s. So what I'm gonna do is I think I want to make 3 legs for this. So I'm gonna cut this 4x4 in half, so I'll get 2 roughly 2-foot sections. And then I'll get 4 2-foot sections out of this guy, and that'll give me this 6 legs. Then I'm going to cut 2 of these 2x4s down to 6 feet long, and that will be the basics of the frame. So I'm going to probably cut these. I'll cut these off camera. I'm just going to use my little miter saw there, which I'm not sure if that's big enough to cut a 4x4, so I might end up cutting those on my table saw. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to do that off camera. I mean, I don't want to like really impress you guys with my woodworking skills, because if you watched me, you'd probably be impressed with the fact that I still have all of my digits. So anyway, woodworking. All right, all my legs are cut, and I just realized I say all right a lot. All right. That's my best Matthew McConaughey impression, so that's all you're gonna get. So I noticed that these 2 are probably not green treated, but these other 4 are green treated. So they're good for ground contact. The other 2 will rot out. So I'll probably end up painting those, or I'll ignore the fact that they're not green treated and just deal with it. They're gonna be the middle legs. I'll have the green treated ones on the 4 corners. So we're going to go with that. But what I do want to talk about next is shear force. So, hang on a second. We're going to use some props here. So when you're building a table, you've got the legs, and a lot of times people will put the sides on, on the face of a leg. And then what ends up happening is when you put weight on this, the only thing that's holding it up is the shear force of your fasteners, like the nails, or in my case, I'm going to use some screws to secure these. And if that weight is greater than the shear force of those, the nail or whatever, then it's just going to rip this right down. And this is going to come crashing down, disaster, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch out these 4x4s, so this have an even smaller prop. So what'll end up happening is this will sit on top of the 4x4, but in this little notched out area. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. I'll go ahead and notch this out, and that's what I'm going to use my table saw for, is to make all these notches. So maybe if you're lucky, I'll show that on film, and I'll still have all of my fingers when we're done. So yeah, woodworking's fun. I'm gonna try to explain this hopefully clearly. So what I want to do is notch out a notch in that 4x4 to the same thickness of this 2x4. So that's like 1.5 inches. So what I've done is I've raised the blade up, so maybe it needs to come up just a little bit. You can see it just poking out just above the top of the, hopefully you can see that. Just above the top of that, so that'll make a cut as deep as this 2x4. And then I want to notch out a width of this much, and you'll kind of see that when I'm actually doing it. So I've set my my fence to just under 3.5 inches, because 2x4s are no longer 2 inches by 4 inches. They're 3.5 inches by 1.5, I think it is. So you get ripped off. Yeah, it's 1.5 inches, not even 1.5 inches wide. So we need to cut out a 1.5 inch by 3.5 notch into a 4x4. So I've got this set up to hopefully do that. And what I'm going to do is, let me see now. There we go. Let me turn this around. So I put this 4x4 on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run it along and make a cut. So I'm going to run along and make my first cut there. Then I'm going to kind of move it out and make a series of cuts out like that. And then I'm going to have all these little wafers in here. I'm going to knock them out with probably my hatchet, the back of my hatchet, because I don't have my hammer over here. And I'll show you that, and that's super satisfying. And then I'm going to kind of clean up the debris, and I'll turn it and do the same thing on the other side, because these are going to be corner pieces. So corner pieces have to have a notch cut out this way for the side, and the one going this way for the end run. And that'll be a lot more clear once I actually make these cuts. So I think, yeah, we'll go ahead and do this on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and super speed it up. So let me reposition so you guys have a good angle, and we'll go from there. Before I go super speed, the other super dangerous part about this is I have to take the fence off, the little protective fence, to be able to cut the way I need to cut. So this is where, you know, fingers really are at risk. So do this at your own risk, your own peril of losing fingers, because this is actually kind of dangerous. All right, so you can see all the notches here. By the way, I'm only doing one side because this is going to be a middle support leg, so it only needs just the side support. So, I'll show you what the cool magic is. Usually you'd want to use a hammer, but this is what I have here. So, basically you just kind of knock those little pieces out. And there's always some debris left over, which you could, you could sand that out or scrape it out with, what do you call it there, chisel. But I'm going to do something even more dangerous. Hang on. Alright, so you can see what that looks like. Let me get my little demo 2x4. Where did I throw you? Here it is. That fits in there. Okay, hopefully that all seemed pretty straightforward to you guys. So you can see the notch here, and then what'll happen is, since this is going to be a middle leg, the side is going to come down and rest, and then you have all of the strength of this entire 4x4 holding that side up. And you can see, since I positioned my fence to the width of this thing, this comes flush with that. It fits pretty perfect. Let me flip it around this way. Pretty perfectly this way. And that's it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other 5 legs, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, I've got all the legs cut. You can see what they look like. So we'll have, a side going here, and then an end piece or whatever going that way. So what I usually do is I lay them down on like a flat surface and put the sides in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll kind of show you what I do or how I'm doing that. So hang on, let me get the camera adjusted for you. I'll get it down just a bit like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this kind of from the outside. So this will be the outside edge, and this will be the inside of the hive stand. So I want to make sure that I have this thing positioned the right way. because an end is going to come off this way, like this, right? So I want to make sure I have this the right way. So I'm going to set that down there. This in the middle. Same thing with this end. I want to make sure I have the open tab essentially facing outward, if that makes sense. I'll show you again. The open tab is facing outward. So we're going to do that. And then I'm just going to go get my, I might measure for the middle, I guess. Now, one other thing I didn't mention earlier is I made these all 2 feet long. So this hive stand will be 24 inches off the ground. In the past, I've bought 6 foot long 4x4s, and I made them all 18 inches off the ground. I only made them 2 feet because I didn't want to waste material. I'm just going to use it. So it'll be a little bit taller of a hive stand than the rest of them that I have. But, you know, that's fine. And I make it 6 feet long, which is going to be long enough to hold 3 colonies, the way I like to position them. So it'll be, because each colony is what, like 20 inches wide when you include like a telescoping lid. So that's 60 inches, and 6 feet is 72 inches. So that gives me, you know, what, 6 inches in between each colony. So just enough room to put a frame or so. And we'll talk about frames here in a minute. But what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I'll do this off camera to not bore you too much, is I'm going to go ahead and screw these in to secure these. And of course I'm using galvanized screws, outdoor screws. So I'm super concerned about everything except for this middle leg that's going to rot away. All right, I'll go ahead and film just this one. So again, want to have that on the outside. I try to make it square and flush, and then I'm just going to screw these 2 dudes in. And so once you've, hang on, let me do this. So when you cut out the notches in the wood like this, the screws are only there to hold the wood together. They're not there for any kind of support. All right, now final 2. And then when I end up starting to get anal retentive about everything, I just keep in mind, this is a beehive stand. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I have a buddy that's a woodworker, and I think it just hurts his soul when he sees me do woodworking projects. So now, one side is done, I have the other one already done. And then what'll happen is, let me zoom this back out, reposition you. So then what'll happen is this will be standing up like this, and then I'll attach this way, and then the other end will go over here. But here's where I get all fancy. What I like to do is have the width between these 2 rails here, between these rails, the same width of like the depth of a box. So I can actually hang my frames in between the openings of my hive stand. So when I'm doing inspections, I can just take the frame out and hang it in between the 2 sides. So I've built, I think, 3 other hive stands so far, and I've only gotten one quite right. The other 2 are a little bit too wide, which is sort of obnoxious. But I'm going to try to do this one a little bit better. So let me get some measurements, and we'll go from there. Since I don't have it memorized, I have this old crappy frame that I've got. And I'm going to go ahead and measure, should be like 17 and like 3/4, right? So roughly 17 and 3/4. So if I make the opening between these 2 side rails 18 inches, I should be good. I think I made the last one 18 and a half. Should be fine. Maybe I'll go with 18 and 1/4. I don't want to have it too wide and then it'll fall. 1/2 inch either way. Maybe that's what I did last time. I screwed up. You know what? We're just going to go with 18 inches and deal with that. So this dude should need to be 18 inches long. And then that's going to give me my my side lengths. So I don't even really have to measure. I can just take this and lay this right up against the edge of that, and then mark there, right? So that's my exact distance. So then if I just add another, like, say, fluff, 1/4 inch or so, then it's good. And then what I do is I will take and use this one to measure out all the others. So I'll cut this one first, and then we'll double check it, and then I'll use this as the measurement for all the other pieces. So I need one on the end, so I need 1, 2, and I'll probably put 1, 2 more just as extra supports in the middle, because I also use those when I ratchet strap down my hives. I will use the end one and this one to loop the ratchet strap around. So I'll need 4 18-inch long 2x4s. So I've got the 4 of them cut. I'm going to put one here, one sort of somewhere in the middle-ish there. Like that, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and screw down these end 2 pieces, and then I'm going to lay the other side on top and secure that in somehow, so without crashing everything. So wish me luck. And to keep it fun, I'm going to go ahead and do this on camera. So let me fix my hair so I look pretty. Yeah, so I'm going to do this on camera, but I'll super speed it up. And here it is in all of its glory. That took me, I don't know, an hour maybe, because, you know, filming always takes longer. But this thing can probably hold 1,000 pounds or more. Probably even more than that. I have no idea. But you see how the frame fits nicely in between. So we'll just have a hive here, and then the frames will go here. We'll have another hive probably here, and then a third one will go on the end. And so I can put these frames in between wherever I need. And that is it. One sweet ass hive stand. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming with me. Hopefully this isn't too long of a video or super boring. Hopefully it's helpful to somebody. It's just how I like to make my hive stands. There's, like I said, 1,000 different ways to make hive stands. You can buy them, you can put it on pallets. You know, I'm just a backyard dude with some extra cash and some free time. Not a lot of free time, but I like to build stuff. I don't like to build high quality things, as you can see, but I like to build stuff. So I like to build a nice heavy hive stand. Actually, what I might do, this will be fun. I'll take it off the table and I'll stand up on top of it just to see how strong it really is. So wait a second, it's gonna be fun. This is probably stupid because I'm not really on very stable ground, but there we go. And I am not very light, as you can tell every time I bend over. But that thing should hold easily 3 hives with hundreds of pounds of honey on it. So, like I said earlier, I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions, you know, hit me up in the old comments below, and I'll just ignore you because I like to do it my way. So too bad. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Be good, be well, be safe, be happy, be true to yourself. And as always, I'm going to point that way because that's where the apiary is. Be mindful of the bees. We need them. Thanks. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. Or have a good day. It might be day, it might be morning. Enjoy yourself, wherever the hell you are.